All right, the New York Knicks lose to the Utah Jazz. How does that even happen? Let's talk about it. It's the Hoops Nerd postgame show. All right, so there was a lot going on. The Knicks come into this one having won 4 straight. I honestly expected the Knicks to win this game pretty easily, and that is not what happened. And a lot of this game can be boiled down to some bad shooting for the New York Knicks. Outside of OG Anunoby. But when you look at this Knicks lineup, and by the way, this might be just one of those one-off games. Let me know in the comments, Knicks fans, if you agree, disagree, what happened. But tonight, Karl-Anthony Towns, who's having a monster season for the Knicks so far, at least offensively, he goes just 6 for 19, 1 for 9 from 3. 16 rebounds, 16 points. He just could not shoot the 3 tonight. I mean, he at one point just airballed one short. And I believe this Knicks team had rest coming into this one. Don't quote me, but I don't know if there's any reason why they should have been that tired. But anyways, Towns couldn't hit. Mikal Bridges, who for the season is shooting, I mean, coming into this one, he was 31%. It's going to go lower. He was 1 for 7 from 3 tonight. 7 points, 3 rebounds. No assists, 1 steal. I mean, just for what the Knicks gave up for him, you would expect more from him than what he gave them. Now, Mikal Bridges is going to have to figure out how to be kind of that complementary player. He's not the lead guy like he was in Brooklyn. He may be asked to do a little bit more than he was asked to do in Phoenix. It's something in between, and obviously he's going to have to figure that out. I think everyone... Knicks fans are probably tired of hearing it, but we all saw him adjusting the jump shot, and it looks like it's very much for the worse. He could not hit tonight. 3 for 15 from the field. Considering Utah won this game, they win this game by 15, but when you look at these numbers, as a team, the Knicks shot 33% from 3, but when you have Towns 1 for 9, Bridges 1 for 7, Jalen Brunson 2 for 9. It's pretty impressive how badly they shot. And, if they shoot it better, this game's probably a little different. They did get good shooting from OG Anunoby, who was 7 for 12 from 3. He was their best player tonight, no question. Jalen Brunson also hit one of these 2 threes late. I can't remember. But he was just not hitting the 3, and he was avoiding it altogether. He did have 8 assists, though, 23 and 8. On a bad 3-point shooting night. It's too bad. But anyways, this Knicks team really struggled to shoot the ball. I don't know if it's the altitude in Utah, if they just had a big-time night from the Jazz, who have had some nights lately. The Utah Jazz offense has been top 10 the last 6-7 games. And, this Knicks team, one of the things I'm noticing watching them is that defense is just not good enough. I looked at it during the live at playback. They're like 21 in the season defensively. They're going to have to figure that out. I think they kind of hoped that Mikal Bridges, bringing him on his defense, could make up for some of the lost defense they got from trading those, Julius Randle. I don't know if he's the greatest defender ever, but he does bring some solid defense. And they're also missing, who are they missing? What's his name? Their typical starting center. I forgot his name. I'm sorry. In fact, you know what? We don't make mistakes here. New York Knicks roster. They're missing, what's his name? Mitchell Robinson. So the Knicks are missing Mitchell Robinson. So that'll actually clear some things up. It'll be interesting to see how he meshes with Karl-Anthony Towns. And maybe that just fixes everything for the Knicks. I guess we'll find out. But tonight, it was not very good. And yeah, Karl-Anthony Towns, as incredible as he is offensively, defensively, he is not a very good rim-protecting center. And so we'll see how things go when Mitchell Robinson comes back. I don't know when he comes back. Knicks fans, when does Mitchell Robinson come back? You need him. You need that rim protection. So we'll see what happens. All right, let's talk about the Utah Jazz. Utah gets their 4th win of the season. They played pretty darn great. There was one stretch there where they were up by 19 going into the second half. The Knicks had just an insane 17-0 run to go cut it down to 2. But to Utah's credit, they built it right back up late. They played really strong, and they got some big-time nights from their starters in different ways. But mostly let's see. So starting off, Lauri Markkanen, 34 points, 9 rebounds, 2 assists. He shot 5 for 8 from 3. He was lights out tonight. Easily the best player on the floor. 34 points, 2 assists, 9 rebounds. Like always, Lauri Markkanen's ability to score without really even being the main ball handlers is pretty incredible. When he's shooting like this, for the season, Markkanen is having just amazing, and I don't know if this is going to be updated for after tonight, maybe. These update pretty quickly, but Markkanen for the season is shooting from 3, 44%. Easily his best three-point shooting season of his career. 44%. That is remarkable. He is just taking the shots and making them. Look at that. That's actually crazy. He's never had a season above 40%, and he's shooting 44%. Just fantastic numbers from Lauri Markkanen, who is just obliterating from the three-point line. Now, the thing people have been talking about is the two-point percentage hasn't been as good, but guess what? It's already gone up, and that'll happen, I guess, when you're shooting it this well from three, but it's actually getting better. He's hitting the two-point shot more and developing. He's right around career average. In fact, upper half of his career average now from the field, 47%. Now, I don't know what his two-point percentage is for the year. I doubt it's at the highest. But just looking at this, not as bad. And you know what's interesting? He's shooting 44%. Look at the field goal attempts. The 2 seasons before this, 16, 17, he's down to 12.8. Maybe just slightly below career average. What's it? I don't know if it says there, but really incredible stuff shooting the ball from three from Lauri Markkanen. What an absolute sniper. We had talked last year that, maybe that three-point shooting is a tiny bit overrated. Not this year. 44% on volume. He is shooting on average 12 field goal attempts per game, but 6 of those, half of those are from the three-point line. So 6.4 threes at 44%, just lights out shooting from Lauri Markkanen. Incredible shooter, incredible off-ball shooter. So it really does make you think that if this Utah Jazz team can go into this lottery with this bad record, go get a Cooper Flagg, go get an Ace Bailey or someone like that can absolutely be a game-changing player, put them with Markkanen, and all of a sudden you have got yourself an interesting team, and Markkanen's going to age well because his game is not predicated solely on athleticism. I mean, it helps. His ability to drive to the basket, he's great in transition, he's great in the half court, he's getting smarter and smarter, and he cuts, and when that ball gets to him, he really takes advantage. So, impressive stuff. Look at this, plus 30 for these 3 players. John Collins continues to have just an absolute breakout season, and I'm to the point now where there might be a team out there willing to give something to Utah. I don't think it's going to take a lot. I think Utah is very willing to move John Collins for anything, but you know what? They're going to honestly have to ask for something because Collins brings a lot to the table, on top of the fact that he's having an incredible on-the-court season. I mean, look at tonight. 20 points, 13 rebounds, a steal, 2 steals, a block, and an assist. And he was a +3, and he shot 2 for 3 from 3, perfect from the line. I mean, he's having a phenomenal year. And tonight, he did that playing next to Kessler. So this was the lineup that they could not play last year. He's doing it now. Impressive stuff from John Collins. Got to be really proud of him. Took a lot of slander from Jazz fans last year, and unnecessarily so. To be honest, he played pretty darn well last year. He took that starting center job from Walker Kessler because he earned it. Not because the Jazz, if you gave them some truth serum of what they wanted, they probably wanted Walker Kessler last year to take a leap that he did not take. A lot better, and Kessler is playing like everyone hoped he would last year, this year, but the fact that he can play with Collins now, pretty nice to see. So, this lineup, I mean, I honestly, and it's one game, but it's one game more than they were able to do it last year. I'll tell you that much. It was terrible last year. When these two were on the floor together, it didn't work. And there's some things right here, especially here, and here, that makes me think that that's actually going to be possible for the rest of the season. Now, Utah wants to lose some of these games, and if you're a Jazz fan hoping for the Jazz to tank, you hope that this is a little bit of variance, where the Jazz just shot lights out. I mean, as a team, they shot 55%, 55% from 3, and, 50%, crazy that they shoot 55% from 3 and just 50% from the field. It's kind of bonkers. And the Knicks as a team shot 33%. Sometimes it's just that simple. But it's nice to see that these players are learning and growing and learning how to win, not being necessitated of, how do I say this sentence right? These players learning how to play well no matter who's on the floor, right? Last season, it was so completely dependent on specific lineups and different players on the floor could play with one, who could play with who could not play with the other type thing. This season, Will Hardy's doing the same thing he was last year, where he's putting out the lineups, playing the players that are playing well to win the game. And they're playing well, figuring it out. Yes, the Jazz have lost a lot of games this year, but that's the goal. Utah is trying to add a superstar to this team and add it to all these different players, and it's working. Now, they better be careful. They start winning some games, they're going to ruin their chances at a franchise-altering player. But for now, it's good to enjoy the win and appreciate the development. We mentioned a little bit, but Walker Kessler comes back from hip bursitis. I wrote about it on the SLC Dunk blog, and I swear they read it, and they said, James, we're gonna make you look dumb. But guess what? I Googled hip bursitis. It's really bad. Go look up hip bursitis. I don't know if that's going to be with Kessler all season long, but go read hip bursitis. Hip bursitis. It sounds painful, sounds not fun. But anyways, Walker Kessler miraculously comes back from an injury that typically takes some people 6 months to get better. It's something that affects like old women. And he comes back and he's great again. So tinfoil hat time a little bit. I'm not going to lie. But anyways, Walker Kessler miraculously heals and comes back. 11 points, 10 rebounds, 2 assists, 3 blocks. He was a monster tonight. Biggest plus minus of the team, plus 34. And like I said, what made this really nice is he did this next to John Collins, something they could not do last year. So Utah may be interested in doing that. The story of this one, I guess, in terms of injuries, was that Kyle Filipowski did not play. So we'll see how this goes. Filipowski may be coming in off the bench when he comes back and kind of filling in the blanks here. So we'll see how that works. But certainly looked nice tonight. Yeah, the Knicks played really bad, really poorly, but Utah played really well. And you got to give credit to Utah a little bit for playing defense. And you got to give, some credit to the players on the floor. Walker Kessler crushed Karl-Anthony Towns at the rim a couple times tonight. It was really good. Colin Sexton had just a monster night as well. Look at that, plus 32, 25 points, 5 assists. He was 6 for 8 from 3, 9 for 14 from the field. I don't know what it was with this Knicks defense, but it was not good enough. And you got to give credit to Utah, who took advantage. They were just hitting shots when they took them. I mean, honestly, all the starters on the Jazz shot it well from 3 tonight, each and every one. And they were also moving the ball really well. So anyways, Colin Sexton had a monster night, plus 32. I mean, Utah has to think about what they can get for Colin Sexton soon if they're going to make a trade. And Utah has some really compelling players for some other teams out there if they want someone on their team that can help them win games. Let's look at Colin Sexton right now for the season. 16, 2, and 3. But he has, after a little bit of a slow start to the season, he's absolutely turned it around. Look at that, 47% from the field, about career average. Not quite what he was the last 2 years, but really close. And then now for the season, 46%. Crazy. This Utah Jazz offense has been phenomenal. And in fact, I want to open up Basketball Reference, and let's go to the Utah Jazz. I just want to see, and let's hope that this is updated. What's cool about NBA.com is it's relatively real time. But Utah started winning these games starting, November 7th. I got to remember that date. But let's go and look at, from November, was it November 7th? Yeah, November 7th. Let's go. Sorry, guys, this isn't the best thing to do live, but that's the beauty of live, I guess. Anyways, let's go and advance this. Let's do November 7th to today. In fact, let's do tomorrow just to make sure. Let's get those, and let's see where the Jazz lie now. I don't know if this includes tonight. Utah's offense is number 10 in the NBA in that period. Utah has a top 10 offense. I know it's 10, but it's top 10, baby. And then I don't know if this is updated. This may be better tomorrow. Because look at that. 0.1 behind the Minnesota Timberwolves. Ooh, let's hope that drops. And then defensive rating in that time, Utah's 26. So Utah is losing these games because of defense. But they are absolutely scoring. So if you come into Utah and you don't shoot it well, Utah can beat you. You have to be careful. Right? You can't just throw out your bums out there. You have to play your guys, and you have to play relatively well. The Knicks found out tonight real quickly that Utah can score. This may even go into like 8 or 9 after tonight. So we'll see. Unless this is updated, then it stays at 10. Either way, top 10 offense for the Jazz in that span. Pretty darn impressive stuff. And for anyone who's talking about Will Hardy this, Will Hardy that, get out of here. When you have Lauri Markkanen, career-high three-point percentage, Colin Sexton, career-high three-point percentage, you have development happening with the rookies. Utah literally looking to play players that are not going to win these games because they know that they can bring in a player like Cooper Flagg and change this franchise forever. You know? It's really impressive stuff what Will Hardy's doing. These guys get set up to succeed. Keyonte George continues his stretch overall of this same period. In fact, a lot of this period kind of coincides with Keyonte George's improved three-point shooting, but he shot 40% again tonight. So that three-point percentage continues to rise. Again, I don't know if this is updated, but at 5.7, I don't think it does, because I think that was from yesterday. 32.2. So this will get a little bit better. He'll probably be at 33. But anyways, his three-point percentage is going up. It was really bad those first 3 to 5 games, really bad. And now he's hitting at a nicer clip, 40%. I mean, 40% from 3, you will take it. And then the thing that has to be exciting for Jazz fans is this right here. Look at these assists from these 3 guys, from Clarkson, Keyonte George, and Colin Sexton. Colin Sexton with the 5 assists is phenomenal. When he first came back from injury and was playing for Utah that first season, he had blinders. And now he is making the right play and also shooting the ball. Colin Sexton has turned into a really nice, complete offensive player. Really cool to see. The other thing, Keyonte George, they keep saying they want the playmaking to get it better. Well, how about 9 assists, right? He's still got to figure out a few things. He had high turnovers tonight. The Knicks were absolutely blitzing him, and he made a couple bad turnovers in this one. I mean, 5 overall is too high. You want to have that be 2 to 3. That's where you want to be. So this is high for him. So anyways, these are elements for Keyonte George where you can coach these things. There's some issues with some players you can't coach. You can't coach John Collins to be taller. That's just not something you can do. You can't coach Colin Sexton to be 6'8", right? That's just hard to do. But you can coach Keyonte George on a few things. One, which shots not to take, on which passes to make, and it's getting better. He's only taking, like the last guys, I can't tell you how much better it's getting. He even took 2 or 3 tonight that you could say, you know what, Key, probably shouldn't take that shot. Those are things you can coach, and we're seeing him improve. Yeah, you'd like to see this field goal percentage. Last game he was at 50%, today 36%. These are things you can take out of his game. Bad shots. He'll just continue to get better. You just got to let him play and learn and grow. And if he doesn't get better, then guess what? It doesn't matter. Utah has more picks coming up down the road. And Utah is likely going to get even more picks this trade deadline. But for now, you got to be really excited. And guys, one of the reasons why I'm so big on Key and why I think a lot of people should, and I guess you guys probably get nauseated with it. I don't know why. He's one of us. He's one of the Jazz. But anyways, I think Keyonte George fits perfectly with what the Jazz future championship roster needs. If Utah gets like a Cooper Flagg or someone like that, you need a secondary playmaking guard that can score when they are getting double teamed. So if you have Cooper Flagg here, let's say the Jazz, end up moving on from John Collins and Colin Sexton, and, maybe they keep Walker Kessler, who knows. But anyways, you've probably got Lauri Markkanen on the floor. You probably got Keyonte George. You put in Cooper Flagg. He's the guy. right? He is the focal point of your team, and he is going to draw the attention of the defense, and then you need players that play off of him that can score and also do some playmaking, so he's not doing all of the pick and rolls, right? So Lauri Markkanen obviously fits perfect with a situation like that, with his off-ball scoring. But you need someone else that can run when you're on the left, when you're on, strong side of the court, running your pick and roll, and they send their OG Anunoby or whoever, their strongest defender, to guard you. Like, let's say they double team you with OG Anunoby and Mikal Bridges, their two best perimeter players. When you swing that ball to the weak side of the court, and you have Keyonte George getting that ball, running a pick and roll with whether it's, whoever they draft or one of these guys, or like Taylor Hendricks or something like that, you need him to be able to score and do it. The benefit of something like that is that at that point, the best defenders have now been taken out of the play guarding Cooper Flagg, and Keyonte George is now being guarded by Cam Payne or Jalen Brunson or someone like that, and buckets, baby. That's how it works. And so everyone should be rooting for this to get better and better and better, and it's looking like it. I need to do a deep dive in the catch and shoot three, but what we need to see from Keyonte George is this right here. Boom. This is so big because you need to be able to you need knockdowns, right? As the great Jerry Sloan said, we don't need shooters, we need makers, right? And sometimes making the shot means not taking the bad one. Is knowing when you shouldn't take the shot, and he's learning that. But what he is doing really well is he's shooting the three-point shot. In fact, it makes me want to let's go to basketball. Let's go here, Keyonte George. Let's go to his shooting, let's see, game log 24-25. Let's look at what he's doing shooting the ball. This is actually fun to look at. Look at this. He is taking all his shots from three. He's hitting the corner threes. He's hitting these at a pretty good rate too. This is the sign of a really good shooter when you can shoot all over the floor. If you can be consistent shooting here, it's game changer. That's why Markkanen's so important and so impressive. When you have him shooting from here and knocking them down at 44%, that's crazy town. Let's see. Oh, we did shooting. We got to do game logs. Let's see. So to start the year, look at this. Game 1, he's out there trying to prove he's the guy. It did not go well. This knocked out his three-point shooting all season long. But 3 for 18, 1 for 6. He had a pretty good one there. 3 for 8, 1 for 7, 2 for 10, 1 for 9. These 4 games have basically ruined his three-point percentage to start the year. Really bad. Look at that. Three-point percentage, 20% on 8 attempts per game. He was trying to force that 3, and it was not going well. Well, guess what? Guess what? He learned. Since that point on, from game 6, look at that. 38%. It's good. He is a legit good three-point shooter. Now, would you like him to get 40? Sure. But 36, 37% is league average. So he's above average three-point shooting. And this includes shooting on pull-ups and catch and shoots. So this is great stuff, guys. Great stuff. Appreciate it. The field goal percentage is even a little better. 41%. Do you want that to be at least mid-40s? Like, what you want is him to be at 45%. If he can be at 45, then you're at a high level. That is high-level starter doing high-level things. If he was at like 45 and 39 or something like that, you've got yourself quite the player, considering what he does. And look at that, 5 assists in that time span. He's had some nice assist nights too. So in this period, 5.1 assists, 2.3 rebounds. Look at this, only 2.1 turnovers. So a night like tonight, 5 turnovers. Not good. But guess what? Over this time span, he's doing well. He turns the ball over much less than people probably give him credit for. 84 from 3. He's not getting enough steals. You'd like to get this to at least 1 or 2, but that might not be his game. But you got to be happy. And that's only 2.8 free throw attempts. So he's playing a little bit more off the ball, but he's making better decisions, and he's knocking down threes. And this is kind of what you're hoping for him as an off-ball player next to your superstar. You absolutely have a weapon here. So you just got to keep developing. You hope that he continues, because if he keeps developing, then all of a sudden you got a great player. He's only in his second season, guys. This is literally just year 2, and it's his first full season of starting. So, got to be happy with that. It takes a little time. Jordan Clarkson could not shoot the ball tonight, but he continues to assist the ball. -8 for him. Isaiah Collier is shooting like 7. We looked it up on the live. He's shooting 7% from 3. He needs to learn to shoot the basketball, but it's pretty tough. They are not guarding him at all. The word is out. So, as much as people like to dog on Keyonte George, and we had a lot of people saying, oh, what about Isaiah Collier, blah, blah, blah. Guys, one thing we need to do in life, seek the truth from the source. And the source is telling you right now, he's not shooting it because he's not making it, and they're not guarding him. And this is going to get harder and harder and harder. So Isaiah Collier, he needs to absolutely just lock himself in the gym, focus on the shooting, because everything else is really nice. He assists the ball to get an assist. He is like allergic to not getting assists. I think it's amazing. Even when Collier is struggling, he still assists the ball. Just a gifted passer, a gifted playmaker. What the Jazz need is him to be a shot maker. Like, he has to figure out how to shoot that 3. It's going to take time. If he cannot, it's going to be an issue. But he's a rookie. He's brand new. He has years of time to figure this out. And I think he will. I hope he will. But guess what? That's the fun of this season and next season, is we get to watch and see. And if he does, and it'll be fun to watch. We definitely saw Jordan Clarkson evolve his game. He's gone from being just a chucker, 6th man type that just shoots the ball off the bench, to being a legit assist man. Jordan Clarkson, another 6 assists. In fact, for the season, Jordan Clarkson is averaging 3.8 assists. Pretty darn nice for a player that a lot of people used to make fun of, that he doesn't shoot the ball. Or doesn't pass the ball. You don't hear those things anymore. Cody Williams, they're trying to ease him along. I'm happy with this. I know some people would like to see him go to the G League. I think this is so much better for his development than anything he would learn in the G League. I think crushing guys in the G League, what does that teach you? Utah just keeps putting him out there. When he struggles, they bring him off, they bring him back, but they're still giving him 8-9 minutes. This is not like what Quinn Snyder used to do, trying to sabotage Dante Exum. He's not playing 1 minute and then one mistake, he gets pulled off the floor like Quinn used to do to Dante. They are trying to play him. And when he has good games, I promise you his minutes will go up. And when he's struggling, they pull him. And I actually think this is the perfect plan for him. He's struggling. That's okay. He's going to be able to learn. And if he doesn't, well, this Utah Jazz team has a ton of picks. And if it doesn't pan out, it's fine. He's a brand new, young rookie player. You can see all the potential. He just needs to get some time to develop, just like we've given other players on this team, right? It's pretty rough at times. You can tell he looks pretty darn dejected, but he's getting better and better. Well, I don't know if he's getting better and better. What I like is that this Jazz team is getting better and better, and they're allowing him to be a part of it. And when he's not playing well, they pull him. And what I love about Will Hardy is when certain players are playing well, he plays them. Like Johnny Juzang tonight played 16 minutes. This is a perfect example of that. Juzang has been up and down minutes-wise this season because he's had times where he has not played well and been crushed by opposing offenses. Tonight, he was 4 for 7 from 3, and guess what? Will Hardy played him. It's one of the things I love about Will Hardy is when there's a guy that's out there cooking, he lets them play. Sometimes that's because a player's just hitting shots that night and playing well. And sometimes it's obviously that the Jazz have some sort of advantage over another team, and Will Hardy plays the advantage. I can't tell you how good of a coach he is. He is such an incredible offensive coach. And you know what? If Utah gives him some really good defensive players, Utah doesn't have a lot. They have Walker Kessler, and who else would you consider a good defensive player on this Jazz team? Outside of Taylor Hendricks, who's out for the year, right? Who else? There's not a lot. So what Will Hardy is doing is playing into the strengths of the team, and that is offense, and they're top 10 offense now, and it's because of decisions like this. When Juzang is out there hitting threes, he's playing. when he's not and he's not defending well, he gets pulled. Juzang had a few moments. He even had one play where I was actually kind of joking with Lake on the live stream. I was like, here we go, running pick and rolls with point Johnny Juzang, and then the defender went under the pick, and Johnny Juzang just pulled up and buried it. And I was like, well, he sure shut me up. So anyways, nice night from Johnny Juzang, but what Johnny Juzang is doing is such an example of how well Will Hardy is coaching. You've got to be super pleased with that as a Jazz fan, to know that this Jazz coach is doing a great job. Great job. So anyways, nice win for the Utah Jazz. Obviously, for someone like me who's seeking after Cooper Flag, you would like to see more losses than wins. But all this does is knock Utah down to 4. New Orleans and Philadelphia, I think they'll probably get more wins than the Jazz over the long haul. Although New Orleans, oh my gosh, guys, I saw that video of Zion Williamson and his new back tattoo, and it was not the tattoo I was looking at. He turns around and he has a literal belly. Like, how do I have a better body fat percentage than Zion freaking Williamson? How does Zion Williamson have a bigger belly than me? How is that possible? I don't know. All right, well, let's give a shout out to the All-Stars, and let's do our nightly tankathon roll. We got to pull up the music, guys. Sorry, I'm late on this. I did not pull this up quick enough last time. All right, there we go. All right. Guys, Utah drops to number 4. Not my favorite. I want them to be top 3. Philadelphia won last game. I think they're going to start winning games. Utah, I think, is at least a bottom 3 team. Toronto's playing better. They got Scotty Barnes back, so we'll see how they do. But I think Utah is definitely going to be in this top 3 spot. They need to get there. They need to do it. And if these dang Knicks could hit a shot, they'd be there, but not tonight. All right, let's see what happens if the lottery was today with Utah at the 4. Do they get Cooper Flag? Let's see. No, Utah drops 3 spots, goes to 7. Disaster. Atlanta and Portland go to top 2. Indiana jumps them. What a bummer, dude. That gives the Jazz Nolan Traore, which I guess you'd be happy with, but I don't want Traore. I would rather go for Common Malawach or something. Oh, what a bummer, dude. That's like worst case scenario, because 6 is Trey Johnson. Utah has to be top 1 or 2, guys. We can't have too many of these wins, guys. We can't. I can't do it. I can't look at the Jazz and watch them do this only to land 4. It's time to make some trades, man. It's really time. All right, let's see here. All right, let's give a shout out to our All-Stars. Thank you for supporting the show, All-Stars. Let's give a shout out to Ryan Edward Perry, the legend, Baby Elliott Matson, see ya, Alexa Later, Christian House Money to Haas, the Outlaw Jesse James Nelson, Jordan the Goat Besserell, Austin or Grant Editor Extraordinaire, KG10 to TH5, and Patrick Akubo, the Connoisseur. Bigger gut equals bigger agent. Jeesh, getting out of all the bad luck now, hopefully, and get the good playing bums out. Yes, I actually think, guys, if the Jazz just trade Colin Sexton, then I think that they are good. I think that will do it, because his offensive output is really high level. There's got to be a team out there that could use that high level of an offensive player. There's got to be. All right, guys, if you're a Jazz fan or an NBA fan, whichever, like and subscribe to the channel. If you want to support the channel, thank you so much to the members who support this channel. I really appreciate it. Yeah, hit join. Join the channel. I would really appreciate it. Guys, like and subscribe. I will talk to you next time.